and welcome to the Expat View, where we're all about knowing and growing expat women. I'm Renee Letterman.
And I'm Marie Bryce, and we're coming to you from our living room in Houston to yours.
Today we have Marion Bell back with us, and we're going to be talking about expat children and eating healthy. Marion, welcome Marion.
Thank you.
Will you talk to us about improving the immune system for children?
Well, one of the things that I think is important is that kids get sick so quickly these days because we have so many people and they're around so many people. It's really one of those places where I think that we can really shorten that span and keep them healthier. I know it seems very silly, but washing our hands, taking baths, washing things around us more, not with antibacterial, just plain water, a little bit of soap at times, really taking the time to be hygienically good, in good shape. And I think that I'm seeing kids now, they're not washing their hands as much, they're coming and doing things and touching, and I do not hear the parents saying, did you wash your hands? Or here's a Kleenex, just wipe down the side of that. Or take your pencils and wipe them. I think that it's important and that these germs that we don't realize in the air itself are the things that are actually not just the hugging and kissing that we're doing. So just taking a little bit more time to be fastidious.
And a lot of the children are being exposed to different bugs and different germs and different things in different countries and foods as well as areas. And I guess common places too where they're actually congregating, even flying to another country, being on a plane with 500 other people.
Right, and that's another thing. Let's build up the immune system before a person gets sick. It not only applies to kids, but to adults also. So what I'm interested in is the flora in their body is in good shape. So if you can get your kids to eat some yogurt. Now I'm not talking about frozen yogurt. I'm not talking about yogurt that has extra sugar in it. I'm talking about plain yogurt. That you as the parent adds a little bit of sweetener or jelly so that they're getting the taste that they need, or even maybe a little vanilla flavoring, that you're not buying these yogurts that they're mimicking yogurts. So that gets good bacteria into their system. And also, either way, if you're in Europe coming here or here going to Europe or another foreign country, that you're giving your kids acidophilus, which helps, again, little tablets that helps with the flora. Kids need to also have a little bit of lemon juice water every day.
Why is that?
Because it actually cleans out all the organs and sets the flora correctly for them. Now, some kids don't want a little lemon juice water. You hardly can get kids to drink water. So let's go back and say we need kids to drink more water to get hydrated. And then if you can add a little bit of lemonade to their water using, again, a tiny bit of sweetener, honey, agave nectar, not 3 tablespoons of sugar, but a little teaspoon to sweeten it. That lemon water will clean out their system and help build the immune system also. I'd like to also mention kids need sleep.
That was my next question.
Oh my gosh. Kids get sick because they are not rested. I think that we don't realize that kids actually need 12 hours of sleep. The younger they are, the more they need their sleep.
Changing time zones and things
Yes.
to try and get them to get that sleep?
We expect them to come to attention when we are stressed out and trying to move somewhere. And our attention needs to be on the children, making sure they've had some snacks so they don't get grouchy. And the snacks are not all about sugar, sugar, sugar. And then making sure they have a rest, a nap, a meditation time. Kids need that quietness. And if they're not sleeping, that they're actually sitting in a chair with a book with some downtime. And that they know that that is their downtime to kind of recommit themselves to being healthy. Because they're overexhausted, they're overstimulated. So we need to sleep.
I'd like to know, what type of snacks would you recommend?
All right, first, fresh fruit, some carrot sticks, some celery sticks, but we've been talking previously that we don't know if the fruits or vegetables are the best ones for us. So again, teaching the kids to wash them off and rinse them off. You can steam some veggies for them to eat and use a little dressing for them to dip into it. They need protein. Kids need protein and good carbohydrates. So sandwiches are a great snack for them. And if you can get them with a better best bread, and planning in advance. So if you make a whole piece of bread, you can cut it into fours,
Okay.
give them P&J, peanut butter and jelly. Most countries you can find some kind of
Some
nut
kind.
butter,
Yeah, that's true.
tahini, some kind of jam, some kind of honey to make a good sandwich for them. And kids don't need so much variety. I think I hear, and myself included when I was young, I ate tuna sandwiches for probably 6 months. If your kids eat tuna sandwiches for 6 months or an egg salad sandwich, don't try to keep giving them more variety. They don't need it. If it's healthy and you feel it's a good quality snack or sandwich or lunch or dinner, they like noodle soup or they like soup and a cracker, let them have that for 6 months. You don't have to keep finding variety for them.
Well, so many parents get so stressed about that. It's
I
like you
know.
say, they stick to one thing, so they're just trying to force feed them with all these other things.
No.
But some kids really are fussy, aren't they? They're totally fussy eaters. And
Oh, do we have to talk about those?
we do have to talk about them. Here we are in a whole new country, and we've got all this wonderful food and experiences that the kids could have, and they don't want to eat it.
They don't want to eat it. So again, we're going to try to keep them eating the things that they're accustomed to eating in the States, if we can absolutely find it. Very few kids will not munch on a piece of chicken or steak, or and there's one vegetable that that child will eat, give it that vegetable. If they eat that vegetable for the next 10 years of their life, that is fine with me. Alrighty? And then we want to give them a good quality supplement that they can have so that their immune system is getting the minerals that it needs. Most people are not so much vitamin deficient, but mineral deficient.
I've heard that.
So we can give kids some minerals, and they can take it in the form of a chewy vitamin or something, so be sure to bring that with you until you find out where it is there. And again, they need the carbohydrates, so noodles, 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 noodles. And then find things to put on top of the noodles, because kids love noodles.
So we're talking cooking noodles with water, and we talked last week about the bottled water thing.
That's
so
correct.
Cook the noodles in the bottled water?
That is correct. And then find something that they can use. And kids usually will like cheese. If they're not allergic to the cheese, give them some cheese, because these are things that I know over and over again when you're working and doing menu planning and you're in a new place. Those we know that the kids will eat. Even if the noodles have butter on them at this point, if they're not allergic to butter, because they feel satisfied. It's comfort food for them.
Well, what about the cheese? Is that healthy? I mean, is that okay to eat in different countries?
If the food is not processed,
If it's not
if
processed.
it's real cheese. I find most expats, when they come to America, they are aghast at all the processed food we have.
Exactly.
And processed
I
cheese.
mean, we're not talking about fake cheese. We're talking
Okay.
about really good cheese. And in moderation, because some of the reason we're getting sick is because we're over inundating ourselves with food. And in most foreign countries, people eat smaller amounts, and we're encouraging people to do that when they come to the States, to eat smaller amounts.
Actually, talking about amounts, and you were saying before about comfort food, what about problems with children? Like, there's obesity is a big problem in the United States, but there are definitely, obviously, obese children in other countries. And if they're being fussy about foods, or they're comfort eating, which some children do when they're lonely and in another country, how can we sort of guide them around to more healthy habits?
All right. One of the thing is, some obesity and some overeating is because someone is not nourished. And that takes us back to the fact is our gut in good shape. Children and adults have had way too many antibiotics. And I'm not saying that that's not a good remedy, but I think that people have the signs when someone's getting sick. There are very distinct signs. And again, attempting to get really good quality food into our children. More fruit, more vegetables. And if you're afraid about something fresh, you can poach fruit. Because kids need that sweet. So we can poach some fruit. We can give them a cooked cereal. In the States, we're not so used to eating cooked cereals, but in most foreign countries, that's what they get for breakfast. And they have raisins on it, and cinnamon, and nutmeg, and wonderful divine spices, which gives that sweetness to our young children. Because they do like it. They do need the carbohydrates, and they need the sugar. That's how they get that energy to go to school and think well. So I think that if we take a look and plan ahead, and have all the foods that we have in our little backpack and foods for them, and pay more attention to planning, children will be more nourished. And that obesity issue has a lot to do with the fact that children are not nourished, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and also with vitamins and minerals.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're missing.
They do tend to have that comfort eating type thing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it sounds like you've got this, you just provide us with so much information every time you come and talk to us, Mary, and we're very grateful for that. And I mean, we started off with just talking about food, and now it's like looking at the whole child, which is obviously the most important thing.
Yes.
So you mentioned things like the planning, again, like with adults, and keeping their systems really healthy to start with. And last two top tips, if there was two things a parent could do, what would they be?
Rest, take a minute out, using better water, and again, looking for a child that might be getting sick in themselves so that they can, again, fortify themselves.
Excellent. And I love that tip about getting the kids to just sit down. We're such bad role models when we get racing around in our lives, but to have that solitude and to get centered again.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming today. It's been wonderful, and thank you for last week. And if you'd like to find out more about Marion and the services she offers, you can certainly check out our website for her information on www.theexpatview.com. And also, if you'd like to support our Global Sisters, we also support the Kiva Foundation and ask you to do so as well. They provide microcredit to women in developing countries.
We'd also like to invite you to visit our Facebook page, and we'd like for you to tell us about some concerns or that are challenges that you're having with your children and healthy eating. Again, thank you for joining us today from our living room in Houston to yours.